Watching WMBD News on the record.
Welcome back. While Republicans like Congressman LaHood are celebrating the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, a Democratic Congresswoman from Chicago calls it the Big Ugly Bill. Congresswoman Robin Kelly says the sweeping legislation hurts working families, slashes funding for essential services, and puts political optics ahead of real needs. Kelly is also running for U.S. Senate next year, and she's making her case to voters here in Central Illinois. But she's no stranger to the region. She's a proud alum of Bradley University, and her kids were even born here. And joining us now to talk about all of this is Congresswoman Kelly. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Congresswoman, you've called this the Big Ugly Bill. What's the biggest harm you believe it's causing in Illinois right now? And how do you respond to supporters who say it's bringing tax relief and economic growth for the middle class?
Well, I'm very concerned about the health care part of the bill. I'm concerned about all of the bill, frankly, but health care, people will be losing their health care. Medicaid took a huge cut, and there's so many people that depend on Medicaid for their health. There'll be hospitals closing. We know in Illinois, 9 rural hospitals will close, and I know that I have hospitals hanging by a thread in other parts of the state, other parts of my district. So extremely concerned about that. When people don't have health care, they're going to run to the emergency room, which is more expensive, and then taxpayers are going to pay for that.
So it'll just drive up the costs for everyone. I mean, you've warned that this bill will gut funding rather for healthcare nutrition programs in school. Can we talk a little bit about what that means? I mean, how many people are, in this area in particular, perhaps, to lose those food assistance benefits?
So many children that go to public school, that's where they get their best meal, or perhaps sometimes meals of the day from public school. So that they want to cut that. They also want to cut the nutritious meals for the summer, so kids won't have that. They want to close Head Start, so parents won't be able to go to work. And when you work, you contribute you pay taxes, you contribute, to your city, your state, your municipality. So there's a lot of ugly things, very ugly things in this bill. People are going to be losing their jobs left and right. That's already happened. If hospitals close, people will lose their jobs. If clinics close, people will lose their jobs. And also, there's been cuts as far as the environment and solar and things like that. And I spoke to a union leader that said that they trained all of these people because there were all of these projects. Now the projects have either been stopped or they're on pause.
Oh my gosh. I mean, so how would you, we are in debt as a nation.
Mm-hmm.
We're trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. It is a crisis. I mean, if it were up to you, where would you make some cuts?
Well, we're further in debt because of this bill, because of giving $4.5 trillion in tax relief to, very wealthy people that already don't need the cut. But people need to pay their fair share in taxes. That would help tremendously. I know they talk a lot about waste, fraud, and abuse. It's not that much waste, fraud, and abuse. People like Elon Musk make, I think, $8 million a day off of his contracts with the federal government. We need to look at all of that. No one wants waste, fraud, and abuse. We all need to look at that. But that is their excuse for giving tax breaks to the well-off and well-connected.
Yeah. I want to move on to the Senate primary you're running to replace, of course, retiring Senator Dick Durbin. He held the seat for more than 40 years, big shoes to fill. Why do you believe you're the right person to follow his footsteps?
I'm the only person in this race thus far that has worked effectively on every level of government, from local to state to county, and now the federal government for 12 and a half years. My district is urban, suburban, and rural. I started in Chicago. I go south of Danville, west of Pontiac. I'm the only one in the race that federally represents, a district like that. I feel like I have Illinois in my district, and I know that I've gotten stuff done. I mean, that's the bottom line. Legislation passed, programs put in place, and great constituent services thanks to my very wonderful staff.
And talk more about your local ties to this area, and how would, you lived here for many years, how would that help you, know what this region needs?
Sure. Well, it's good to listen. I don't want to say I know what everyone needs. That's why, I came not too long ago to have a listening session and to hear from people. And I have lived here on and off for mostly 20 years. My kids were born here. I worked at Methodist Hospital. I was a director of the crisis nursery, 2-time Bradley graduate, 2 served wings on the Board of Trustees and actually was on the search committee for the new president. So I have a lot of connections, a lot of roots in Peoria, and I keep coming back, not only to get the gondola from Pomani's, but no, I listen, and that's how I learn. No one knows everything, and that's how I got so involved in maternal mortality and morbidity, because a constituent called and said, I want to tell you a story. And that's what I do. I listen, I make sure I'm informed, and I take those voices and those stories back to D.C. and do something about it.
We'll definitely see more of you on the campaign
Yes, you
trail
will.
as the race heats up. Thank you so much
Thanks
for being
for having
here.
me.
And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with sports.